Hello everybody. Sorry for the short delay, but I was I was in a queue waiting to go online. I told you that sometimes it takes a while before I get the link, the broadcast on. I guess it depends on how many people are on, and with so many people stuck at home with the bad weather and with COVID and with everything, everybody must be online. So, hi Elaine, thank you for being here, for moderating. Hi Lianka, Karen, the two Karens, Sharon, Carla, and who else? Jessica. So what I wanted to show you today is how to make some really neat embossing powder stuff. The thing is that I honestly do not have a lot of colors of embossing powder because excuse me, I don't use it that much. I do not do scrapbooking or card making. So pretty much the only times I use embossing powder would be for if you remember that I put up for Tiffany effect and for stained glass effect, as well as for Christmas ornaments. Otherwise I don't, and because of that I practically have, like gold and silver and copper and black and white, and of course I have a tinsel. Hi Pamela. So what I did, and you can do this with practically any kind of color, as I said in lives that I showed before, I find that, and unfortunately I don't buy these too often because I am doing low carb, high fat diets, and hummus is high carb. But these kind of containers, of course you can buy them, but they are more expensive. This way is just practically free. You just wash really good the container to avoid having to handle all with a paper, put everything back and all that. But as I don't have enough of them, I am going to use paper. And one thing that I did not tell you before, hi Anna. One thing that I did not tell you before, something that can be very easily used to control the embossing powder, are coffee filters, because they are very fine, they will catch everything, and they are easy to manipulate to pour back in the container. And it's much better to use this because it's like a little bowl, instead of using a flat piece of paper that stuff may fly down, Yeah, well, there's a lot of embossing powders all over the place, and if you look, and maybe I will get some more to show you some other kinds of effects, but if you look on powders, embossing powders, let's go and take a look on PolyClay Play. And here you can, another thing is that you can mix Pearlex and embossing powder, but you'll have to use the clear one, and you can also mix glitter and embossing powder. Everything that says tinsel will be the one that has some kind of glitter in it already. The black sparkle, this one, is the one that's great for the Tiffany effect. And then there's another thing that you need to be very careful about for the very delicate things, including the stained glass. You need to look for something that says a fine line. I don't know if she has any here. not go through them, but there are all kinds of colors that you can mix and you can match and you can do. Yeah, see this one, the super fine black embossing powder, and you can find gold, copper, you can have clear. That's the one that you can put very fine glitter or sparkles. Silver, I think that the ones that I have are super fine. The silver is, the copper is, the gold. I do have regular gold and super fine gold, and white, and my clear is super fine. So I have a lot of super fines. Yeah. And then she has most of the Rangers, Trish, in PolyClay, but if you go in my Amazon influencer store, let's go look for the embossing powders right here. I have mostly the Wow ones. Both are very, and I have some Rangers as well. Both are very, very good brands, and right now I only have in the Amazon influencer store some stuff that can be used with the effects I mentioned before, but I probably should add some more. The other thing that you absolutely need is clear, a stamp pad that is clear. If you want to draw anything, you will need embossing pens, and you can find them. I have a kit here that's with clear and the black, depending on what you want to do, and obviously you will need a heat gun. So let me get back on here and see if we had anything. The embossing pen is exactly what a stamp would do, is just you draw with it. And if you watch my for Tiffany, you can see exactly what I did there. And the other thing is that embossing powder, you can mix it, especially in translucent clay. It will give beautiful effects, but be very aware of the fact that the embossing powders, if you put them in the oven, they will not fluff. The embossing powders only fluff when they have a sudden change of temperature to hot. So they won't fluff. If you want to have any kind of fluffing, you need to first treat your clay with the embossing gun and then put the whole thing in the oven. Now here is just a simple thing, and to be very honest, you should do this after you bake, but I didn't want to keep you waiting. I had something happened again yesterday. We lost power all of a sudden, early afternoon, and because most of the stuff that I'm working on obviously needs electricity, by the time the power came back on, I was too tired to do anything. And hi Judy, did I miss anybody? Sandra, Darla. So I've been late on everything, and I posted on Facebook. I started experiencing what's called now coronasomnia, where I wake up in the middle of the night at midnight and then I cannot fall asleep again. But anyway, so I recommend that you first bake the clay and then apply the this is a color shift, obviously, or you can just use plain clay. And also this works good if you have, you know, remnants of clay and you kind of make a marbled thing. And I know that I have here something, because I have a few. Let's see how there's some messed up stuff. That's why I keep telling you all the time and repeating that. Whenever you have something, don't waste the time to fix the clay when it's raw, because hi Adelaide, I'm sorry, because it takes way longer than once it's baked. You just get, and I know you shouldn't do what I'm doing right now. You always need to use water, but I don't want to have all kinds of stuff here. And there we go. This is, and usually this happens with the metal cutters, only at the joint, but with the, I still have to find plastic 3D printed cutters that cut properly. Hi Hirasuna, hi Renia. So let's do first a simple thing, and I have all kinds of little stamps. Initially I wanted to do a winter theme, but then I was like, you know what, everybody's sick and tired of winter, let's just do something else. And of course you can do these different shapes, so these would be pretty much whatchamacallit, earrings. Okay, so you can place animals or whatever you want, but what I want to go for is mostly something that is kind of like partial there. So let's go ahead with a fine line, and I didn't bring my my ink pad. Okay, so let's grab a fine line. Let's get this and use a white and see how that works. And then I will show you some other little tricks. And these work beautiful, and especially if you're mixing in them a little bit of Perlix or glitter, it's going to be even nicer. Okay, so let's grab, which of them do I want to grab? This or this? Let's just grab this tiny one. Pardon my hands. But you know that it doesn't always work. They don't always work that good for me. Oh, come on, get out of here. And I'm sorry I didn't have time to do my fingernails because I've been cleaning. I replaced my intake filter, and I had to clean the whole vent and all kinds of things. So this is what actually these are for. So let's grab, and I said I'm going to use white, and I don't have a container for this. Okay, so let me grab both of them, and then we'll put some resin on them to see how the whole thing works. Let me also grab my eyes. So if you've never worked with this, don't ever press down on a stamp, because you're gonna get ink all the way in. So when you're pressing, if you're pressing too hard and it's a soft stamp, you're gonna get stuff that you don't want. To ink your stamp, rub it against the pad. And the second one. I hope I didn't mess up anything. and you have to work a little bit fast at this point. Okay. Don't think I got enough ink. Maybe I need to refill my ink pad. I think I do. This never happened before. Hold on, let me grab. Kinda, sorta. Might be the color shift. I never used the color shift before, just the regular acrylic. We do have a slight impression, but I might need to refill my... Let's get all of this off. And I'm going to work on the back, just to be on the safer side. Because I think it's the... I wanted to do something and it didn't work. I did not test how it works with the color shift before, so that might be the issue. So I'm gonna turn these around to use the back of it. I'm not even sure if I have any ink left. Let's see if it was the color shift or something else. So yeah, definitely it's the color shift is too sticky. So don't use color shift. Yeah, that's something that I avoid doing. Yeah, it's too sticky. So we're gonna just do on the non-acrylic paint part. Maybe you can do, I guess you can do, but you need to use some kind of varnish so it wouldn't stick. Okay. This is one. Oops. Sorry. I'm pretty bad. My hands are not the best thing right now. Don't know if I told you, but my doctor called and said that no, it was not the stamp, it was the color shift that was too sticky. My spine doctor called and said that at this point they do not dare to do any more shots in my spine because I have some very, very narrowed areas, and they are afraid that if they press too much on the nerve, it might leave me paralyzed. So okay, I'm gonna just use the backs, and because you cannot use this, you cannot do this on the... I don't think it's a sticky layer. The whole thing is like that. So yeah, unfortunately that won't work. I'm gonna do an experiment with powders to see how that works. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to show you, and this works beautiful with black on black, so let's find something that would look fabulous with black. Let me put this back. None of my My ink pad was quite filled, that's why I was rubbing. These are not exactly the best of the best quality stamps. They are a little soft, and soft stamps, the silicone stamps, might get squished and might press on oops. Okay, let's do these vines. They might look pretty with the tinsel. And I'm going to do all of them at... generally, if you put the heat gun on baked acrylic, it may start bubbling, so it's not that good. Okay, I kissed it. You saw I kissed it. Oh God. I really need to rethink my whole work area. Let's see, my main problem when using this is that I drop stuff, remember? So my hands, as I said, especially with me unable to get the shots anymore, my hands pretty much suck at this point. I know what I need. I need an anti-static, and I lost it. I have no idea what I did with my anti-static. The anti-static, especially when you work with the embossing powder on paper and plastic, because they are both prone to become staticky. There's a little thing that's called, it's like a little bag of cloth that's called an anti-static, and you brush, and obviously polymer clay is a plastic, you brush whatever you intend to put the embossing powder on, you brush it with that, and then it won't stick all over the place. Okay, so I'll get this back. Then I'm going to try something that should be very nice to obtain. I hope my hands will cooperate. Okay, so I'm going to try the Dragonfly anti-static. Is just baby powder. I didn't know that. I told you I'm not a card maker. Okay, so you've seen me using this in several, this specific stamp in several polymer clay projects. Okay, I will remember that. Alright, so let's try the copper. I wish I had blue, but I don't have blues. Let's try the copper and the gold, because they should make a good combination. And grab another one. Then we're gonna emboss the whole thing. And then on some of it, we're gonna put some resin. Okay, now you can combine different colors. So I'm going to place copper on this side. And gold on the other side. And go a little bit in the middle, just a little bit. The only problem is that at this point I'm not going to shake it on top. I'm going to shake it on top of my trash because I don't want it to mess up. And I'm going to have to go separate. Okay, and then I'm going to use some white on one of them. Let's get this back. And I'm sorry, I'm wasting your time a little bit with the putting the stamps back, but if I don't do that, I make a mess. I forget what I did with them, and then I might even throw them away when because I don't see what it is. And I might even throw them away when I'm cleaning the table. Okay, let's do a leaf. With white and gold, the same way that I did before. All kinds of different combos. Sorry that my whole thing didn't work. No, I said white and gold, not white and clear. I already have this. Ginkgo leaf. Yeah, because I know how bad I can be, you know. I mean, as you age, it's like not going good. And I need to hurry so my thing doesn't get dried. And again I'm going to, oops, god damn it, I touched it. I almost dropped it and I touched it. Oh well. And not that I'm complaining, but if you ever decide to do a live with stuff that you do, and if you ever did a live, you know how bad it is when you're trying to work with something and you have right in front of your face, you have a camera, then you have a microphone, and you have to keep in mind everything. I mean, yes, these happen when I'm taping a video too, but they are much easier to avoid compared to when it is live. Okay, and I'm going to grab another butterfly. Let me grab one that's a little bit more delicate. And this time what I'm going to do is to mix a little bit of clear. Yeah, but to be very honest, I don't know where my pen is. It's somewhere. I know I put it somewhere where I wouldn't mess it up. So. Okay, so I'm going to make a little dent here because I don't want to use a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to place a little bit, and generally talking, when I'm using glitter and embossing powder, I make a mix of 2 to 1, 2 embossing powder. Oh yes, that too. I'm using the 2 embossing powder per 1, whatever I'm using as a measuring thing, this little scoop, 1 glitter. So 1 glitter. And just mix it very nicely. It makes beautiful effects. I did a tutorial yesterday and Friday with my sponsors that involved exactly this specific mix as an alternative to the pieces that we made. And I was lucky because the power outage happened about an hour after I finished my my live with the sponsors. It could have happened during the live, but fortunately it did not. So now be careful and don't use these obviously for coffee anymore. I mean, once you used it for this, don't use it anymore for anything else. Okay. Oh, then my bad. I'm breaking everything, touching and pushing and dropping and all that. Alrighty. So I'm going to take 2 different ones. Hope I don't mess up. Because I don't want to send glitter flying all over the place. We all know how bad glitter can be. I cannot really lift this and pour it because you saw I don't have room because of the camera. Let me try. Nevertheless, let me try, because this is going to take forever and a day. Okay, so this will be very, very delicate. Now I'm going to have to move the camera so that it doesn't get any kind of heat. Just a second. I had a bad idea one time. Yeah, I had a bad idea one time of not removing my embossing powders when I was using the heat gun, and I didn't realize that some of the hot air was going to on the jars, so I wasted a lot of stuff. Yeah. Okay, let me grab my eyes and let's work on. So first I'm heating the gun a little bit. I love the moment when they start bubbling. That's what I love the best. You know what? Let me do a zoom because you can barely see what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, absolutely. Give me just a second to zoom in on this stuff. So I want it a little bit higher. And let's have a good focus on it. So here. Want it here. And there we go. Now you should be able to see much better what I'm doing. Okay, so these will go in turns like this. See how it changed? Beautiful. Spectacular. Okay, now let me turn this back and we're gonna take a look at these, but I'm gonna change this again. Okay, so you see how it's slightly shiny because it's practically another form of plastic. Embossing powders are another form of plastic stuff. This is the one that I touched, so it's white and gold. And this is the gold and copper. And you can make all kinds of other, you can rebake, but I'm going to just do it in a fast way. And you have to understand that the way that it is done, Okay, remember that my camera doesn't show glitter very good. Let me try and, where's my remote? There it is. Let me try and get a more day kind of stuff. So this is just glitter, and the glitter's got a lot of blue and green, but it's kind of hard to notice. Okay, now let's see how they look like with no, there's no, I never felt a plastic smell. Never ever. Let me go grab the, get some. I mean, I've seen stuff done with like rainbow colors in this kind of stuff, but as I said, it's a little bit difficult to work in a live with embossing powders, especially when I'm not fully rearranged. As always, I'm putting the shield under my stuff. And to be very honest, I think I'm still suffering of a little bit of several nights of insomnia that I had. Let me see. Liquid polymer clay is going to be sticky, Karen. It is a little bit sticky. So, oh my goodness. Yeah. My best red perfect pearls, I think it's something Christmas something. Hold on. It is, no, Merriment Red or something like that. Merriment Red. Yeah, this is the best red that I could find. Remember that I had a very hard time finding red mica powder when I was doing my Peter Sai experiments, because the main issues were that all the mica powders I could find were practically copperish, not red. And the only place where I actually did find red was that soap mica powders for soap making company that actually do have red. Of course it is, remember that I told you before that mica powder that's any other color besides silverish and goldish is artificial mica powder, is not natural. So this is not something that I'm going to put up on. By the way, I was thinking of doing another destash if you think you might be interested, because I have a whole bunch of stuff that takes a lot of room, and they are both experiments and tutorial stuff. Okay, even if it won't be super perfect resined. Yeah, the Nurture soap works beautiful for that. Okay, let's grab the dragonfly. No, and also I have all these. You have to remember something, that I have all this embossing powder all over the place, because these are not the fronts. These are the sides of polymer clay that was stuck to the mirror tile. It's not the actual front of the piece. Actually, with this kind of stuff, I would go and put some other inclusions in the resin. Maybe even some steampunk stuff. Like on this dragonfly, I would use some little gears. And on the tree, definitely whatchamacallit, some rhinestones. Yeah, this is an experiment good to make, to try. Okay, don't get off, get on the edges. And another thing, if you want to work on black, use tiny, like, let's say on 3 parts, you know, using as usual, using the 1.5 cutter to measure with the clay on the thicker setting. Mix in the black like half the size of a sweet pea, of like magenta pearl, green, peacock blue, several metallics, including gold and the silver. And what you will obtain, and I will show you here in a minute what happens, because you'll get a type of stuff that almost looks like there's glitter in the black, but there's not glitter. They are just various colors of mica, and it makes a beautiful effect. I'll show you the close-up. Let me get these two. Without dropping anything. My biggest scare is that I'm going to drop something. Yes, I did. That I'm going to drop something and it's gonna get resin all over the carpet. But Catherine, I've explained several times before that if you see anything that says mica pigment, the pigment, it's actually a powder. It's not the mica that's colored. Let's say you see red mica pigment, it's going to be mica that's gold as usual, and there's gonna be a red pigment powder in the mix. And I showed several times how that looks in the metallic and pearlized clays. That you have the clay looks of one color, but the mica inside looks of a different color, like on the that teal from the Cernit metallics, I think it's called green gold, something like that. The clay itself is teal, but the mica inside is gold. So again, if you want to use something like that, you need to look for mica powder, not mica pigment. And yes, I do make my own colors of mica. Of pearlescent and metallic that I make with mica too. And these was way before they started coming up with all kinds of other colors in Premo and Cernit. Like these are all mica colors that are made with translucent and mica powder. And here pretty much the same. Hold on, I know I had some reds too. But what I want to show you, see, this is another mica clay that I made, mica clay color. I know I had some reds, but what I wanted to show you is a specific greens made with mica powders. They are all this does have a little bit of the other colors, but I know I had a almost hematite. Yes, these are reds made with various colors of mica powder. This is a pearlescent. I can find this I love, but I make several mica powders in it. I have no idea what I did. No problem, Adelaide. Just there we go. I found it. Hold on a second. I'll get this close up. Hey, dropped one. I'll get this in close up so that you can see better what I was talking about, the different colors of mica, even if my camera might not show it perfectly, but still, this is not just a plain silver. It is with all kinds of colors of from different, let me go warm again. It's all kinds of colors of mica, and it gives a little bit of a holographic effect. And this too. And this is not glitter, it is mica. So, okay, let's get back to but as I said, use this kind of stuff if you want to, and I'll go close as well so you can see the difference when you use a little bit of that mica in the black. Okay, I did obtain some curvature. Do you remember what I told you how to fix these? You just put it in the oven for a little bit to let it warm up, and then you place heavy stuff on them when they are warm. Oops. Okay, this was a little bit too thin. Let's get into the refocus. More close up. There we go. So you can see, let me actually get one that's not, see the mica in the black. So this is how it looks like with the white. It almost looks like a starry night of sorts, and butterfly, which again my camera doesn't show properly, because as I'm looking at it from here I can see it doing butterfly, looking butterfly-ish, but the camera doesn't want to make it look like that. Anyway, Cernit, you can leach it a little bit. It's not the firmer of clays, that is for a fact. Especially if you want to do stuff that has a lot of detail. Hi J9. If you want to do especially like dolls and stuff, you need to get the specific Cernit doll package, not the regular one. You have all the colors of translucent, Karen, or not? You can very easily color the translucent with alcohol inks, but you have to be very careful to put just a little bit, because remember, when it comes to Cernit, Fimo, and Pardo, the translucent in those brands is white. It doesn't become translucent actually until it gets baked and cooled. So not just baked, but also cooled. And I know that you've seen all kinds of things and experiments online that, oh, is it worth it to, does it have anything to do with translucency if you quench it in ice water? Honestly, I think that it does. Every time that I used and I made something out of translucent clay, and then I quenched right from the oven directly in water, it became more transparent. And to me, it makes sense from the point of view of chemistry and physics. Okay, but I don't know. You see, if you think, Karen, talking about the phthalate and non-phthalate free, remember that you had the Scalpi Studio before the phthalate, and then they pulled it off the market and they reformulated it and they made the souffle, which is pretty much kind of the same, but the Studio was super soft, kind of like, almost like the Scalpi 3. So yeah, you can leach the Cernit. It is still beautiful, and especially for certain things. And if you haven't watched yet, let me give you the link to my and I need to make a new one, because in the meantime there are more brands that came up on the market, and more not just brands, but more variations in already known. So I have this video that is called, this tutorial that is called Polymer Clay for Beginners, which clay to pick, where I explain exactly which clay to pick depending on what you want. And the same does the Pardo. I mean, honestly, I couldn't tell you which of them I like the best. Why for me Pardo still is number one? Because Pardo, when you make a full gem out of it, it even sounds like one. Remember that I was showing you at one point that a full gemstone made with Pardo made the exact same sound when being knocked as a real gemstone. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm still working on catching up on stuff, and Pardo is not very good for molding. Cernit is good for molding. Remember that Cernit being so soft, the softer a clay it is, the less detail it will hold. The firmer a clay is, the more detail it will hold. So if you're talking about cabochon molds, Cernit is great. If you're talking about all kinds of designs molds, then you might want to try Pardo. Just you have to be careful with Pardo. Has to be very well conditioned, so it wouldn't start messing up because it's okay. So I don't know yet what we're gonna do next Sunday. It's going to have to do with hearts, absolutely, but we'll see exactly what. As I said, I don't know yet, and hopefully once I started catching up a lot around the house from all the stuff that I couldn't do because of thyroid, because of fatigue, because of all kinds of stuff. But I should soon start putting up new videos as before. So let's hope that everything is okay, that I stay healthy and we don't lose power again and we don't get an ice storm. Thank you so much for being here with me, and we'll do hearts next Sunday. Okay? Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week to come. Stay safe and stay healthy. I love you all. Thank you. Bye.